Good morning. It's been a while. Nothing over the winter for me, but here we are looking forward to the 2023 season. So winter fishing didn't happen. I went out, when was it, mid-December. Didn't catch anything. Was hoping for some winter fishing, but winter fishing in my patch, you need to get out a little way, so you need a nice settled period and to be fairly sure of the forecast. That happened on a couple of occasions, but not the couple of occasions when I had the spare time, unfortunately. So yeah, it was one of those years. It happens. Winter fishing didn't happen. So I took the boat out 3-4 weeks ago, done some winter prep, and it's now nearly ready to relaunch, hoping to relaunch for Easter. The boat will certainly be ready. It just depends on the weather. So it's had a good empty, a good clean out. Got the seats to put back on. I've got a new box for this year with I'm just waiting for a swivel and slide to mount to go on there, and I'll mount that seat. A couple of bits to go on, and then we'll be ready to launch. So over the winter period, I've had several people ask about what sort of winter maintenance goes on, and also a surprising number of people asking about the deck wash. So I have gone through it briefly before, but I'll look at the deck wash in a minute. I'll go through the winter prep, and then we'll have a look at what's on the boat for this year. I've changed some things around a little bit. For those new to the channel, this is I only started doing videos last year. I only got this boat last year. I've had boats pretty much all my life, but it was the first season with this boat last year. So they always take a little bit of getting used to, change a few things, tweak a few things to make life easier and better. But we'll have a look at that deck wash first, and then move on to the maintenance after. So my boat's the Warrior 175, which is double skinned and a self-draining deck, meaning that any water that comes on the level deck drains out through that scupper there, and there's another one the other side. The way it's designed is that the flat hull is supposed to be completely sealed. Underneath the fuel hatch, which is supposed to be sealed, that's changed on my boat. It comes with an aluminium fuel tank sealed in with foam. When I bought the boat, that was all rotten and leaking, so that's come out and been replaced by plastic. And then there's also a sealed hatch at the back. In the engine bay, which again is supposed to be 100% sealed and to keep it all airtight. This is an older boat, it's 2006, and there's no way you're going to keep water out of those bilges. So I wanted a way of draining the bilges and also having a deck wash. So if water does get in, it tends to be under the fuel hatch, which is this one here, or under that circular access hatch right at the back. So what I came up with is a deck wash here. So this is a Seaflow standard deck wash that comes out, and it's got the hose spray at that side, and on the inlet to that we've got the strainer that goes to this manifold, and that's just standard plumbing parts. So this is Hec2O pipe with push fit fittings. Goes to this manifold, which allows us to have 3 inlets. That's just blanked off, and we can open or close the inlets in turn. So what I had to do to drain it is actually drill into the boat, and some people are not going to be happy with that, but that's the way I've done it to achieve what I wanted. So under this fuel manifold here, I took that off, drilled through into the side of the boat here where there's a channel where the fuel line goes in, resealed that with Sikaflex, and then it's a case of feeding the pipes. One goes through. I did have to drill further holes underneath that access hatch, going that way, It's just it's not a stringer, it's just a thin bit of fiberglass, 2 thin bits of fiberglass, which I had to drill a 25mm hole through and feed the pipes through. So one pipe on the inlet goes to the back hatch, the other pipe, the second middle pipe, follows the same route, and then underneath this hatch here and underneath the fuel hatch. They're secured at their lowest points with Sikaflex, and that gives me 2 pump out points. So then with the manifold I can open up the back hatch and drain that bilge. I can open up the fuel hatch and drain that area of bilge, and then the third one I can open up. That goes onto a hose pipe. At the end of the hose pipe I've got a strainer, which is brass, so it's quite heavy, so that can go over the side, gives me a raw water washdown. Or if I've got a decent sized bucket of water, it can go in the bucket of water, and that gives me a freshwater washdown. So that's it. Hope that answers the questions about the bilge pump and deck wash and the way I've done it. So there she is, cleaned and polished and anti-fouled. So winter maintenance is important. Anti-fouling gets rid of all the barnacles and the greenery, etc. That preserves the hull, stops barnacles can properly chew into it if you leave it and damage the fabric of the boat. It also makes the boat go faster and it's more economical. Polishing the boat, one, makes it look nice, but it makes it a lot easier to keep clean and keep it looking nice throughout the season if it's done. So it's not the favourite part of the boating calendar, but essential. It's got to be done, and when it's done, it's quite satisfying. So I bring it out. First of all, give it a jet wash, inside and out. Once it's emptied of all the stuff, of course. Jet wash it inside and out, and then the bits I use, oxalic acid. There are lots of products, but on moat to get stains and rust marks from hulls, on most of them the active ingredient is oxalic acid. So this is quite an economical way of buying it. Mix it yourself, put that on, leave it for a bit, wash it all down, and that gets rid of the marks where it's been sat on the mud, for me mainly, a few rust marks inside and that sort of thing. Oxalic acid gets rid of that. I then use a cutting compound that gets rid of the final marks and will also get out minor scratches. Then it's shampoo. Any old cheap car shampoo does for that. Then triple wax or your favourite car polish. 2 coats is ideal, but that depends on enthusiasm and weather. For the anti-fouling, I use Hempel Tiger Extra. It's quite expensive, but it's what my local boatyard recommends. Frogmore Marine Services, great outfit if you're down this way. They recommend it, so I use that. What else have we got then? Rain-X for the glass. Sikaflex Clear, that's resealed the windows. I used cheap silicone last year and paid the price, so Sikaflex this year. Osmo, that just does the spare engine bracket. Some contact cleaner. Tend to stick a towel in the engine bay, give in the battery compartment, spray all the switch contacts and whatever with that, and then just a light spraying of WD-40. Right, the curse of E10 fuel. So with the best will in the world, always intend to start the spare engine frequently, and then a few weeks turns into a few more weeks, and then all of a sudden it's clogged up with gooiness from the E10 fuel and it doesn't start. So the main engine, I have that serviced professionally because I'm not an engineer, I don't know what I'm doing, but the small engine, Yamaha 4 horsepower 4-stroke, that only gets used about an hour a year, something like that. Yeah, took the jets off that, give that a clean with, you can get proper carb cleaner, but I couldn't get any locally, brake and parts cleaner, clean the jets out, and it starts sweet as a nut with nice clean fuel. The other area for anti-fouling, which I'm never sure about, is around the engine bracket. I never anti-foul it, but it's always a bit disappointing when it's full of barnacles and weed, etc. So I asked on the Warrior Facebook group, and someone recommended Lanogard. So Lanogard marine spray, so that's had a good spray and a final pick of little barnacles, hence the towel to catch all the bits and pieces. So yeah, see how we get on with that. And with the boat starter kit you get some Lanogard grease. I'm not a massive fan of grease, I have to say. It's alright on the static parts, so I'll put it on the auxiliary bracket, that sort of thing, just to keep the water out. But on any moving parts, I always feel that grease attracts dust, and when you've got dust in grease you've got a grinding compound, so I'd prefer to oil those parts frequently rather than grease them once a season. But like I said, I'm not an engineer, that's just how I do it. So like I said, it's nearly ready for the new season. I have done a boat run through before, but as with most boating people, you change things around a little bit, so I'll just have a quick run through of what we've got. So starting off in the cuddy, I've got fire extinguisher, a rope, which is short length of rope, which is easily to hand. Life jackets, I haven't got those on board yet, but they'll be in there. Stuff that I use a little bit, so spare rod holders, bin bags, gaffer tape because you never know, cord because you never know, some cable ties which are used for the anchor trip, WD-40 for the jobs that gaffer tape won't do, and a spare Railblazer cup holder which has got one of these port connections, so that can be put on any of the rod holders. Over on the other side, nothing in this bin. I'd like to carry several bits of pipe plagging with me, mainly mackerel feathers and stuff like that. You're not going to use them just once, so I find that's quite a tidy way of just wrapping those up and keeping them for the next trip. This is a nice lovely dry compartment, so snood, gloves, hat, winter coat, and the salopette type things. Little first aid kit, keeping nice and dry, hopefully not needed. This little storage tub here, IKEA bathroom one, just for the regular boating stuff that I use. Scissors, long nose, elastic, scales, ever hopeful, priest, multi-tool. Over on the other side, just some cleaning stuff in a similar thing. Landing net, like I say, ever hopeful, cleaning brush. Under this hatch we've got the bake table, and there's a dry box in there which has just got cooking stuff, so little stove, gas bottles, kettle, tea bags, etc. Some plates, camping plates and that, so just add milk and water and we're ready to go, and some food. I've got this new box on for this year, mainly to house a seat, not really for fishing, but I wanted some option of having at least one extra seat at the back for just family stuff really. I don't particularly like the warrior built stuff, to be honest. I wanted to keep the quarters clear, the corners, for fishing, so the big seat doesn't do that. And the folding seat at 920 quid that you can't seat an adult on seemed a little bit much to me. So I've just opted for the box, which will give me one seat on a swivel, keeping the corners nice and clear. And I don't know what I'm going to use this for yet, to be honest. I've got some lead weights in there and that's it, but you can't have too much storage on a boat, so it will get used for something. That's about it really. Yeah, main engine serviced and ready to go. Auxiliary I've cleaned, that's ready to go on. That's just drying from the oil I've put on there just to preserve the wood. Yeah, so next step, just finish it off, put the seats back on, get back on the water, and hopefully the next video will be at sea. I look forward to seeing you then. Cheers.